Well, folks, we are officially halfway through the NFL season. Welcome into this edition of NFL Daily by Chat Sports. Tyler Jones, Jack Sperry here with you. Jack, I can't believe we're already halfway through the year. We've had an exciting year, and now we're down to the playoff push.
That's absolutely right, Teej. Things are starting to heat up in the National Football League, and today we're going to go a little spicy today. We might have some debates. We're going to talk about the latest stuff surrounding the National Football League as we approach Week 10.
Plenty to get to in a matter of moments, but first, I want to make sure you are subscribed to NFL Daily by Chat Sports as we bring you nonstop coverage. We are live 3 days a week with our Tuesday and Thursdays news and rumors live shows, our Red Zone channel on Sundays. This is the channel for you. If you're a diehard NFL fan, you need to subscribe right now. Best part about it, doesn't cost you a thing. Absolutely free to subscribe. Join the family, and we'll get started with today's show. Let's begin looking back at last night. The Bengals with the win on Sunday Night Football over the Bills, 24-18, as they were in complete control of that game, really from start to finish. And now the Bengals find themselves in a very interesting battle in the AFC North with the Steelers, Browns, and Bengals all at 5-3, and the Ravens sitting at 7-2. So, Sperry, let's look at the AFC North picture here. And I got to say, the Ravens looked really good yesterday against Seattle. They're on a 4-game winning streak. They've been one of the most complete teams in the league this year. The other three teams are solid, but it's going to be very tough to stop this train that is the Baltimore Ravens right now.
That's absolutely true. These guys just don't stop winning. It seems like every single week we're talking about every team from the AFC North getting a victory. And right now, every single one of these teams, Baltimore, Pittsburgh, Cleveland, and Cincinnati, all four of the AFC North teams are currently in the AFC playoff picture. That would be an absolutely unprecedented thing if somehow all these teams can get in there. But the big question now is going to be, how does the AFC North shake out moving forward here? Because right now we know all four of these teams are pretty darn good, but it's definitely more likely that one of these teams ends up falling out here, falls out of the playoff picture. And me personally, I think that the Pittsburgh Steelers and Cleveland Browns will probably fall a little bit as the season goes on. And I think as we approach season's end, it's really going to be the Baltimore Ravens and the Cincinnati Bengals that really set themselves apart. Right now, my prediction is I think it's going to be the Baltimore Ravens and Cincinnati Bengals. I do think the Ravens get first because I think, with the slow start with the Bengals, I think the Ravens will still have the advantage there. But watch out for the Cincinnati Bengals, man. Joe Burrow is fully healthy. They've beaten both the San Francisco 49ers and the Buffalo Bills the last 2 weeks. They look fantastic. Steelers, I like Mike Tomlin as the head coach. They're going to win some tough games. But overall, I think Steelers and Cleveland are probably going to fall by the wayside. What do you think there,
Sperry, I hate to agree with you, but I think the division plays out the exact same way that you have it there with Baltimore, Cincinnati, Pittsburgh, and Cleveland, and all four having a very good chance to make the postseason at this point. When I look at that Baltimore Ravens team, it is going to be so tough to beat these guys because you look at it through the first 9 weeks of the season, the only time that they've lost is when they've beat themselves, when they've been -2 in turnover margin in their two losses, that being against Indianapolis and against Pittsburgh. So I see them winning the division. Watch out for Cincinnati, though. Joe Burrow and company really starting to figure it out. As a wild card team, that is not a team I would want to face in the postseason by any stretch of the imagination, Sperry.
Yeah, I think that you could make the argument right now that the Bengals are the best team in the AFC. Their defense is rolling right now.
Be.
Joe Burrow, obviously, I know they've had really good success against the Chiefs, the other team that's really considered the cream of the crop in the AFC right now. So if there's any team that's going to make the Super Bowl as a wild card this year, my money's on the Cincinnati Bengals.
Speaking of the playoffs, coming up in just a matter of moments, we will shift gears to the NFC and discuss the Vikings' chances of making the postseason without Cousins, going to Hall as their starting quarterback. We'll discuss that coming up in a matter of moments. But first, let's tell you about today's sponsor, Odds Are. Odds Are, let's make one thing clear. It is not a betting app, but its AI technology gives the bets they recommend that you should be making. Because let's face it, folks, luck is not strategy. Here's how Odds Are works. It's very simple. Green means go. Red means bad. You want to look for the green values. Those are the bets they recommend you should be making. The red ones are the ones that they say you should stay away from. Here's what we're offering our viewers here at NFL Daily. If you go to oddsr.com/NFL Daily, we'll give you a 30-day free trial so you can try it out and see for yourself if Odds Are is for you or not. Play along with us today. oddsare.com/NFL Daily. That 30-day free trial just for viewers of NFL Daily. Check it out today. The link is in the comments and the description of today's video. That's oddsare.com/NFL Daily. The Vikings with a win over the Atlanta Falcons, 31-28 yesterday. And the Vikings, after a rough start to 2023, find themselves right back in the playoff hunt. They've been shorthanded, but they've managed to play through these circumstances. And Sperry, there's a lot of momentum in Minnesota right now. Is this a playoff team?
I mean, it's definitely interesting. So you look at the Vikings situation right now. The last 4 games, they've been without Justin Jefferson, and somehow they've come away with W's in all 4 of those games. They're above 500 for the first time this year. Joshua Dobbs comes in not even a week of practice. He had to work on his cadence with the offensive lineman before he even got a snap in, and he leads them back for a victory against Atlanta on the road. So for me personally, right now, I am going to take the hot take position here, and I'm going to say, yes, the Minnesota Vikings will get in as a wild card this year with Joshua Dobbs as their starting quarterback. Jaren Hall goes down with a concussion. With the way Dobbs plays last afternoon, I don't think he's going to give up the starting job. With Justin Jefferson back, with the defense playing as well as they are, I think they sneak in. They won't win the division. It's still going to be Detroit's division. But for me, I'm going to say the Minnesota Vikings continue their magical run and make the NFL postseason. What do you have to say, Teej?
Man, I give credit where credit's due. Minnesota, with these circumstances, has done a really good job working through them. But eventually, this has got to catch up to this Vikings team. In fact, the team they just beat, actually, I feel like still has a chance to go to the postseason. I like it a little more than Minnesota. I like that Atlanta Falcons team. I like the schedule more for Atlanta than I do Minnesota. It gets tougher along the way. You still have to play the Detroit Lions twice. So that, to me, that's what I'm worried about with Minnesota, is that eventually this catch up to them. The schedule is not very favorable. I don't think the Vikings make the playoffs, but credit where credit's due. Kevin O'Connell and company's done a terrific job amid these circumstances.
Yeah, I mean, that's absolutely a possibility, right? Joshua Dobbs, I mean, there's a reason why the Cardinals just traded him, right? But the Minnesota Magic is back, in my opinion. This reminds me a lot of that 2017 run with Case Keenum.
Right.
Of course, the Minneapolis Miracle year. I feel like the Minnesota Magic is back. I'm going to have them make the playoffs.
So let's ask you, will the Vikings make the playoffs this season? Why for yes and for no? Chime in that comment section. Tell us what you think. Now we shift gears to New York, where Daniel Jones is out for the season with a torn ACL. Is that the last we've seen of Danny Dimes with the New York Giants? Sperry, it has not been good for Daniel Jones this season. The Giants have really struggled, and Daniel Jones has been a big reason why. Suffered that season-ending ACL tear. This offseason, he just signed a 4-year, $160 million contract with $92 million guaranteed. So now the question becomes, do the Giants draft their replacement, or do they give Daniel Jones one more shot?
I think you got to cut bait with Daniel Jones right now. That's my opinion. You know, Daniel Jones, even before they gave him that contract, I thought that he was more of a deke and dunk kind of quarterback. Last year, it was mostly short passes. Saquon Barkley was such an important part of that offense last year. So for me, I'm going to say absolutely yes. I mean, that contract is a doozy. I mean, you might have to keep him just as a backup. You know, I don't know if there's any team that's going to take a trade for Daniel Jones at this point. But, you know, if you have an opportunity, it looks like the Giants will have an opportunity to draft a quarterback in the top 5 of the 2024 NFL draft. I mean, this is a loaded quarterback class. You cannot pass up on that opportunity, in my opinion. I'm going to say 100% yes, do it.
Sperry, I got to agree with you. It is time to move on from Daniel Jones. We know who he is. We've seen his ceiling, and it's just not good enough to lead a franchise. And for all that money that he got this offseason, I don't know how the Giants can justify that. Plenty of good young quarterbacks that would be much cheaper in this upcoming draft. Giants got to find their next option, hit the reset button, and start over as far as I'm concerned, and give Saquon Barkley and those other options on that offense a real quarterback to potentially play to their full potential. I don't think it's fair to Saquon Barkley to have to play with Daniel Jones the way that is, and you don't know if he's going to be the same quarterback off the ACL. Let's ask you now, will the Giants replace Daniel Jones this offseason? Type R for replace, K for keep. Chime in. Tell us what you think in the comment section below. Before we go, Monday Night Football. Tonight it is the Los Angeles Chargers taking on the New York Jets. Don't ask me how the Jets ended up in primetime again, but here we are. Sperry, this is a sneaky good matchup. And say what you will about the Jets this year, but they've actually done pretty well against some of these high-powered offenses in the NFL this season.
Yeah, they've stuck around. Their defense is obviously excellent. Zach Wilson has actually shown a little bit of a clutch gene this year in the fourth quarter. We saw that with the Giants game last week, but the Los Angeles Chargers coming off a really nice performance against the Chicago Bears. Got some mojo going. Brandon Staley, definitely up in the air if he's the right guy as their head coach. The defense is sputtering a little bit, 23rd in scoring defense at this point, but I love me some Justin Herbert. Man, it's going to be so much fun watching him go up against this New York Jets defense, of course, led by Sauce Gardner. For me, my pick is going to be 17-16 Chargers. I think Justin will have some bumps and bruises along the way here, trying to get to that 17-point mark. But I do think that the quarterback position is what's going to reign supreme here. Give me the Chargers to win this one, 17-16 at MetLife Stadium.
Sperry, I'm going with the Chargers as well. I think there's going to be a little more fireworks, a little more offense than maybe what you think here. I got the Bolts 24-20. I think Justin Herbert's going to have a very good game tonight. Watch out for that Chargers offense to, show some explosiveness. This is a team that's trying to make that playoff push. I expect the Chargers to come out with the dub. Who do you got tonight? You going with the Chargers or you going with the Jets? Type LAC for the Chargers. Type NYJ for the New York Jets if you're going with the Jets to get it done tonight. Sperry, a two-man show today, and here's the deal. If the folks want to see not just you or not just me, but both of us, they need to like the video to let the bosses know they want this type of content on the channel.
Absolutely, man. I love doing these type of shows. I love the conversational aspect of it. If you guys enjoy this type of show and you want more debates here on NFL Daily, make sure you click that thumbs up icon and like today's video.
Yes, like the video for more two-man shows in the future. That will do it. He's Jack Sperry. I'm Tyler Jones. Subscribe to the channel for more content, and we will see you next time right here on NFL Daily.